Have you ever heard about a ghost that doesn't haunt houses but roams the desert? Well, buckle up, because we're about to dive into the strange and spine-chilling story of the Red Ghost. Picture this. The year is 1883, and something is terrorizing the American Southwest. But it's not your average ghost story. Oh no, this apparition doesn't rattle chains or go bump in the night. This phantom is a wild camel. And get this, with a deceased human rider strapped to its back. Now I know what you're thinking. A ghost camel? Really? But stick with me here, because this is one yarn that's too bizarre to make up. So grab your spectral spectacles and your paranormal pith helmet, because we're about to embark on a journey into the unknown. Join us as we unravel the bizarre tale of the Red Ghost. It all started in 1883 in the arid landscapes of Arizona. Picture this, a seemingly ordinary day, when suddenly a monstrous figure emerges from the sandy haze, lumbering towards the unsuspecting locals. It's a sight that would make even the bravest cowboy quake in their boots. This was the first reported sighting of what would soon become known as the Red Ghost. Now, folks back then weren't the type to get spooked by a tumbleweed blowing across the desert, but this was something quite different. Reports described a towering creature red as a sunset with a ghostly silhouette that bore an uncanny resemblance to a camel. Yes, you heard me right. A camel in the middle of the American Southwest. And if that wasn't odd enough, it seemed to be carrying a rider who, by all accounts, appeared to be quite deceased. The sight of this desert apparition threw the local community into a state of shock. Tales of the Red Ghost spread like wildfire, sparking fear and confusion. Was it a ghoul, a demon, or perhaps the vengeful spirit of a fallen cowboy? And how on earth did it come to be riding a camel? The speculation was as wild as the creature itself. The townsfolk were on high alert. Doors were bolted, children were hurried indoors, and men would patrol the dusty streets with rifles at the ready. But despite their vigilance, the Red Ghost seemed to appear and disappear at will, leaving nothing but hoofprints and a sense of dread in its wake. With each new sighting, the legend of the Red Ghost grew. It became the talk of the town, the subject of hushed whispers around the campfire, and the stuff of nightmares for the young and the old. But little did the people know, the real identity of the Red Ghost was far stranger than they could ever imagine. As the reports grew, so did the curiosity and the courage to uncover the truth. It wasn't long before the local townsfolk decided to take matters into their own hands. They formed small groups, armed with nothing but their determination, and let's be honest, a healthy dose of fear. The first clue came unexpectedly. Whilst out on a patrol, one group stumbled upon a set of peculiar tracks. They were unlike anything they had ever seen before. Too large for a horse, too irregular for a wagon. The oddity of the tracks sparked a wave of speculation. Was it a dragon, a creature from another world, or possibly a really big dog with a peculiar walking habit? But among the wild guesses, one old prospector had a different idea. He had seen such tracks before during his time in the Middle East. They were camel tracks. The idea was met with a mix of disbelief and laughter. A camel in the American Southwest? As likely as finding a polar bear in the Sahara. Yet, as the laughter died down, the evidence began to pile up. The tracks were found more frequently, and they were unmistakably camel-like. The mystery was slowly unraveling. Then, the most chilling discovery was made. A body was found, still strapped to the back of a deceased camel. The remains of the rider were badly decomposed, having been exposed to the elements for a long time. The camel, a red one, showed signs of having lived wild for many years. The townsfolk were aghast. The terror that had gripped their community, the Red Ghost that had been the stuff of nightmares, was revealed to be a camel carrying the remains of a rider. The laughter stopped. The disbelief turned into shock. It was a grim finding, but it brought closure. The mystery was solved, the fear was over. The Red Ghost was no ghost at all. It was a creature of flesh and blood, a creature that had been turned into a legend by fear and speculation. And so the Red Ghost was revealed to be a wild camel, carrying the remains of a rider. But where did this camel come from? And how did it end up in the American Southwest? You might ask? Well, let's dive into the origins of our infamous Red Ghost. The leading theory is that this camel was a remnant of the U.S. Camel Corps. Yes, you heard it right, the Camel Corps. In the mid-19th century, the U.S. Army, in a fit of what can only be described as desert-inspired creativity, decided to import camels to use as pack animals in the Southwest. They thought, hey, it works in the Sahara, why not in Arizona? Now onto the rider. Who was this poor soul? And how did he end up on the back of a rampaging camel? Well, theories abound, but the most accepted one is that he was likely an unfortunate soldier or handler from the Camel Corps. Maybe he lost a bet, maybe he drew the short straw, or maybe, just maybe, he was the world's worst camel whisperer. Whatever the case, he found himself strapped to a camel, becoming the involuntary participant in a real-life desert ghost story. So what happened to the Camel Corps? Well, the Civil War happened, and the Corps was disbanded, leaving the camels to fend for themselves in the arid Wild West. Our red ghost was probably one of these abandoned camels, who, for reasons we may never know, ended up carrying a deceased rider across the Southwest, giving locals the fright of their lives. And there you have it, the origin of the red ghost. It's a tale that involves a military experiment gone awry, a misunderstood desert animal, and a very unfortunate rider. It's a story that's as much about human history, our successes and failures, as it is about a bizarre and somewhat comical encounter in the desert. The red ghost story is as much about human history as it is about a bizarre encounter in the desert. The red ghost left a lasting impression on those who encountered it, and its story continues to intrigue us to this day. This spectral camel with its deceased rider became more than a mere mystery. It was a symbol, a metaphor, a story told around campfires that made even the bravest of cowboys shudder. Imagine being a part of those communities back then, where the red ghost was not just a tale, but a living, breathing enigma. It was said that the mere mention of the red ghost would make the toughest frontiersmen look over their shoulders. Children would be hurried indoors at dusk, with whispers of the red ghost lingering in the air. Such was the impact of this legendary creature. But the red ghost was not just a creature of fear, it was a creature of fascination. Its story was passed down through generations, shaping the folklore and culture of the American Southwest. Songs were sung, stories were spun, and the red ghost found a permanent home in the annals of American folklore. In popular culture, the red ghost has been immortalized in books, movies, and even video games. It's become a symbol of the wild, untamed spirit of the West. There's something about the story of the red ghost that captures our imaginations. Maybe it's the mystery, the fear, the thrill of the unknown, or perhaps it's the fact that the red ghost, in all its spectral glory, reminds us of a time when the world was still full of wonder and unexplored corners. Fast forward to today, we still find ourselves drawn to the legend of the red ghost. Its story remains as captivating as ever, a testament to the power of folk tales and the enduring allure of the unknown. And so, the legend of the red ghost lives on, a reminder of a time when the line between the known and the unknown was as thin as a desert horizon. The tale of the red ghost is one for the ages, a saga that begins with eerie sightings, tales of a crimson specter looming over the American Southwest, triggering a wave of terror and intrigue. Then comes the chilling discovery, not a phantom, but a wild camel, carrying the remnants of a deceased rider. A strange spectacle indeed, etched in the annals of history. This story takes us back to the late 19th century, a time when camels were introduced to America, a historical context that adds another layer to this already fascinating narrative. The tale of the red ghost is more than just a ghost story. It's a slice of history, a testament to the unpredictable nature of life, and a legacy that continues to bewitch and baffle us. And that, my friends, is the bizarre and intriguing tale of the red ghost. Until the next mystery, keep your curiosity alive and your sense of humor intact.